Hello there, I'm Gary, welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. So today is box opening day on the kit of the week, or kit of the next 2 weeks, which is the Austin K2Y KATY Ambulance in 1/35th scale from Gecko Models. Now this is a new toolkit, so there's not that much history to talk about. There's not that much competition in the marketplace actually, one really major one, but there are probably a few others. We'll have a look and see, and then I'll have a look at what's inside this very large box. There's a lot of stuff in here, so have a look through that. All that, those bits and pieces will be in chapters, so you can hop back and forwards as your heart desires. And then also I'll be starting to make it as from tomorrow. Now if you want to know when all the new videos pop up, then do make sure you've subscribed to the channel and you have clicked the little bell logo. That's for notifications, so anytime I put up a new video you'll get a notification that it's there. And of course, if you like the video, please remember imperial thumbs up on the like button below. If you really like it, there are plenty of ways in which you can support future production through my partner network and through super thanks. Information on that is all in the information box below. Enough of all of that then, let's get on and have a look at the model of the K2Y ambulance, the KATY ambulance in 1/35th scale from Gecko. As I mentioned, this Gecko Models kit is a new tool, so there's no history to speak of. The K2Y ambulance is a rarity. Previously, only Accurate Armour had made one in 1/35th, and that was a resin kit in the early 2000s. Of course, the other K2Y on sale at the moment is the Airfix kit in 1/35th. I've already made one of these. In comparison, the Airfix kit is much simpler with far fewer parts and very little photo etch. The Gecko Models kit features many things that Airfix leaves out, such as an engine and comprehensive suspension and drivetrain. Both companies offer markings for the Princess Elizabeth vehicle and the Katy from the film Ice Cold in Alex, although Airfix is reticent to mention either directly. Oddly, both kits fail to include a tow cable or sand mats. The Gecko kit is the base for a variety of other kits that have been announced. There is an early version of the K2Y, as well as open cab and closed cab versions of the 30 hundredweight truck. I suspect Airfix have this in mind as well, as there are transparencies for the closed cab windows in the current kit. Airfix did release what they say is a K2 ambulance as part of their RAF emergency set in 1/76 scale, tooled in 1969 and last reboxed in 2009, although there is some opinion that the K2 was never really issued to the Royal Air Force. Well, here's the box. It's about as big as my desktop area can sustain, so it's quite large, as you can see. Interesting things are, for example, well-known KATY. They don't have the Austin K2Y data there, so I'm guessing that they don't have a license to use the Austin name. And well-known KATYs, a limited special edition boxing. These essentially are the Princess Elizabeth one, which is on here, and the Ice Cold in Alex one. That's pretty much it. Now, they do have, I've seen on places like Scalemates, other boxings for the K2Y, but I can't remember what they actually say to them. I wonder whether they actually are allowed to use Austin K2Y on those. Anyway, we'll worry about that another day. Let's have a look inside the box and see what we get. So with the cover off, there's this flip-top box and all the contents. So first of all, there's the instruction book. This is quite a long instruction book. Have a look at that in a minute. There's this sheet here which shows the Princess Elizabeth figure and various bits of uniform, what colours to use them. There's the sheet of decals and the sheet of photo etch and a hose here. And then there are the bags of sprues. There are 21 sprues in total. Some of them are duplicated, obviously, but we'll have a look at all of these individually. This is sprue A. It contains the base of the ambulance compartment and its roof in two parts, and the roof of the driving cab. Then there's sprue AB, slightly confusingly named, with the side panels, doors, the side of the cab, the canvas door either folded or opened, and the rear of the cab, the main ambulance cab. On sprue BA we have the front of the ambulance part, or rear of the driver's cab if you will, the front of the driving cab, the floor of it here, various bits and pieces. Or shovel, that's nice. Never ask a man where he's going with a shovel in the desert. And some parts of the framing for the ambulance, various boxes and stuff like that. There's no part BB, so this is BC. Driver's seat, a few more boxes and bits and pieces. BD has the stretcher parts, so this will be the base of the stretcher, seating. Oh, a Lee Enfield rifle, very nice. Other bits and pieces. There are two identical ones of these. Sprue C is mainly the chassis system, chassis rails, cross members, springs, differential, engine parts and exhausts. Very straightforward. And of course it comes with a CA, which is the dashboard and tunnel, front fenders, engine covers, parts of the wheels, more stuff to do with the suspension and the engines, stuff like that. Oh, and the engine covers, which on these are in 4 pieces, so you can lift them up. So sprue D, these are just a jerry can and some of the standard British flimsy water cans. There are 2 sprue Ds, identical. Then we have sprue DA, obviously the hubs to the wheels, various other sort of storage boxes, headlamps, bits and pieces like that. And there are again 2 copies of this included. And then we have sprue DB here, with just one major part of the cab, I think, part of the exhaust there, and a few bits and pieces. I think those might be the roof louvers here. Yeah, not an awful lot to show for a sprue. I mean, there's what, 8, 9, 6, 8 parts on this one alone. That's a lot of spare plastic for all these little parts, I think. Then there's sprue DC, which is all the transparencies. So you have the front windows with the split for the driver, which is excellent. And we have side windows if you're using the canvas sides opened up. You don't need these. If you're having them closed, then they fit in. And I don't know if you can see that they're actually moulded with ruffles in them, so they're canvas and plastic, so they wouldn't be dead straight. That's actually quite a nice touch. And there's options for headlamps as well. Then there's frame F, and frame F makes a stretcher. The stretcher itself, a rolled stretcher, some supports and blankets and pillow. There are 4 of these. Now, again, a lot of excess plastic when you could have just done this in, like, one frame. One frame, even, you know, like this, whatever. Maybe we could have like saved quite a lot of plastic on these big outer sprues by just putting them all in one frame. Then this is frame B, which is the Princess Elizabeth figure. There's frame F, which are bits and pieces of army equipment. And frame G, more bits of equipment, binoculars, steel hats, kidney pouches and so on. Then we have part K, which is the one-piece outer rim wheel. These would be good for doing tire tracks if you wanted to, on a diorama for example, because they're already made. And it will avoid having to have a seam down the middle, which makes life a bit trickier. There we go, nicely moulded. There's 5 of those. Next we have the sheet of photo etch, and there is quite a lot on here. There's a couple of holders here, these sort of frames here. Those are the water bottle holders for the back. These are the centerline ribs for the jerry cans. These are for the radiator grill. These are the channels into which the stretchers sit in the back. So there's quite a lot of bits and pieces, straps and tie downs and whatever. Some are over here. There's a windscreen wiper, which is good to have as a separate item. So there's quite a lot there. It's covered both sides in a sticky plastic to protect it, which might be useful when we're actually cutting them out, so don't ping off. If we take the top one off, don't take the bottom one off. But yeah, plenty of photo etch, so if you like photo etch, this is definitely the kit for you. One of the more intriguing pieces is this. This is called hose, and I was struggling to find out where this goes. This is actually for the brake hose here on the chassis, so they're expecting me to even put in brake hose that I probably will never see again. But you know what? I'll give it a go. It's there in the instructions. I'll give it a go. Then there's the decal sheet, which, you know, looks okay, looks reasonably good. It's not up to the standard of cartograph, but I guess it will do. Why not cartograph standards? Well, look at this. If you can see this sort of thing here, that would be absolutely crystal clear on a normal cartograph one. There's the markings for the Ice Cold and Alex KATY. Water markings, very good. You don't get those on Airfix, and you don't get these either, which are the masks for the... They painted out some of the windscreens to stop sand blindness, I guess. So those are on there. The instrument panel things are here. It's fine. They're fine. They're good enough. They're reasonably colour. I'm not sure about this green, how accurate that is, but the rest of the colours look okay. They look quite dense, so they should be okay going onto the model. We'll have a look later, of course. And then the instruction booklet itself, full colour print, 40 pages altogether, which is quite a lot. There's an interesting little bit of information here, written by Simon King, about the history of the KATY, what it was all about, mentioning also the Ice Cold and Alex ones, saying that there were actually several KATYs, some of which were converted to four-wheel drive. But if it was some, then not all of them, so I don't feel so bad about my diorama now with the Airfix kit. So there we go, that's all very interesting. Then you get some advice on what to use, warnings as usual, a map of the many parts, and then into the instructions themselves. These are well drawn, standard sort of upper 3/4 non-perspective, what do they call it, orthographic view, shaded as well, which is very nice. Plenty of instructions about, you know, glue this, don't glue this, cut that off, do this down, use photo etch, so on and so forth. Yeah, it's clean, crisp, smart, looks reasonably informative as well. So I'm hoping all this won't be too much of an issue. Even having little things to the pedals, that's nice. There is a lot, I have to say, a lot of detail in here that the Airfix kit doesn't even begin to look at. The engine for a start, but the detail on the chassis is formidable. Making these water carriers, for example, quite astonishing. It is not a build for the novice, that's for sure. It's not a build for the faint-hearted, really. But I'm hoping it'll be okay for a rank amateur like myself. On the back, of course, we have the colour schemes. This is the one from #1 Training Centre in Motor Transport in Camberley, the one that the Princess Elizabeth was driving, hence the L plates, of course. Nice touch. And this one is the Ice Cold in Alex KATY. Yeah, the colour call-outs are, you know, light sand and mid stone. That should be Portland, British standard Portland stone, of course. But otherwise, yeah, it looks okay. Again, you know, for an Ice Cold in Alex KATY, just like the Airfix one, there's no sand mats, there's no cable for the tow bar. It's a bit odd, really, seeing as it's supposed to be about the film. But I guess this is, they'll say, oh well, this is for later on in the film when they've already used those things and they've lost them. I don't know. But anyway, that's the instruction sheet. As I say, 40 pages. That's a lot of information, but then it's like over 400 pieces, so it should be pretty comprehensive. But it does look well produced, I'll give them that. And finally, there's a colour call out for the Princess Elizabeth figure and for the many bits of webbing and backpacks and goodness knows what else that they've included. I don't know why they've included all of this stuff, because there's only one figure. So why have we got 8 tin hats and water bottles, unless you're going to just load them up in the back and say, oh, it's carrying them around. But it just seems a bit strange that you'd waste an ambulance for that. Anyway, maybe they belong in somewhere. I'll find out later, won't I? On the back of that, then there's their own thanks to the following thing, the historians and the people who helped design it. There we go then, quite the kit. Let's be honest, quite a kit. I'll be making that soon, so do please remember, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and set the notification bell on. Imperial thumbs up if you like the video on the like button down there, please, and come back for the build, which is starting very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.